Hey guys, this is the Sports Hub. I'm Conor O'Gara. It's postseason award show time. Unfortunately, that means we did not have any teams in the make it to the state championships next week. But the good news is that means we get to hand out some awards today. I have 8 awards that I want to hand out, highlighting the best that was in this football season. And the first one that I want to get to is the Swiss Army Knife Award, and that goes to none other than Conor Young. Kozad quarterback did everything that the Haymakers could have asked this year. Kid had 17 touchdowns through the air. He had 12 on the ground, rushed for nearly 1,000 yards, led the Haymakers to a semifinal appearance after that state title last year, of course. He was second on the team in tackles. He even had 2 punt returns for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown. Conor Young, just about as good as it gets, doing everything that the Haymakers could ever want him to do. I asked him in the beginning of the season, I said, you're a quarterback now. Quarterbacks don't typically return punts and kicks. He said, well, wide receivers do. That just goes to show you the mindset that Conor Young has. The Thou Shall Not Pass Award goes to Kearney High defensive tackle Brian Arp, of course. Kid had 132 tackles this year from the defensive tackle position. That's unbelievable. Led the Bearcats to their first state victory in 6 years. Haven't had a playoff victory in 6 years. We're able to get it this year against Norfolk. He is such a big reason why that defense was good all year, especially good stopping the run. Papio coach Sean McLaughlin said he might be the best defensive lineman in the state of Nebraska. Arp, of course, going on to continue his career at Ohio. Definitely big things ahead for that young man. I don't have some ridiculous name for this award. This is just the Most Improved Award. And if you follow the show, you probably know where I'm going with this one. It's Ansley Litchfield. AJ Berkey, if there was a Coach of the Year award in the Hub territory, he would certainly be at the top of that list. Led Ansley Litchfield to 5 wins this year, led them to the playoffs after they were winless last year. I said in the beginning of the season, I thought that team would make some big strides, had some nice playmakers in place. You talk about Michael Shoemaker and Haas Smith, a couple guys that were obviously really important for that program, and just made a gigantic step for that program. AJ Berkey has some good things going over there. They really established the run well against a lot of teams this year and had such a good defense. Be expecting a lot more from the Spartans in the years to come. We talk about season-to-season improvement. How about most improved within a season? This is the mid-season turnaround award, and that goes to Jeff Hall of Gibbon. You look at a kid that was averaging 92 yards per game before a loss to Cambridge. Mark McLaughlin talked about that being just a tough loss, and the program really kind of had to take a look in the mirror and reevaluate where it was going, and that's exactly what Hall and the Buffs did. Gibbon gets its first district title. After that mark, Hall averaged 182 yards per game. He was just a machine out of that backfield. He could catch some passes. He and Braden Snell were one of the best duos that we had, especially in 11-man. And just a really nice year for the Buffs, getting that district title, getting into the playoffs. A lot of momentum for Mark McLaughlin in that program. An old Nathan Hart term, this is the Glue Guy Award, and that goes to Billy Smith of Elwood. The glue guy, the guy that just holds everything together, kind of does a little bit of everything. That's exactly what Smith was for Elwood this year. Had over 1,000 yards rushing, had over 400 yards receiving, 30 catches, had 18 touchdowns, made a ton of tackles for that defense. He also punted, he returned punts, did just about everything that Kevin Malberg could have asked him to do. He easily could have been a Swiss Army Knife Award winner this year, but just an all-important player for the Pirates who made a really nice postseason run. That offense just did so many good things this year. Smith, big reason why. The Clutch Play Award. Probably not much of a mystery here. This one goes to Grant Bushcutter. He gets that 42-yard field goal to stun Columbus SCOTUS in the Class C1 quarterfinals. About as clutch of a kick as it gets. As clutch of a kick as I've ever seen in high school sports. I've already said that before. The amazing thing about that play is that Dave Cowling actually ran to the middle of the field to set up that kick. Instead of taking shots downfield, really wanted to set Bushcutter up for that final kick. Maybe the only thing better than that kick was perhaps his dad's radio call. That's on YouTube somewhere. You should probably check that out. Another familiar face highlights our Can't Be Touched, Can't Be Stopped award. That goes to Christian Best of Elm Creek. Buffs season just finished up in a tough loss in the Class D1 semifinals, but Best did about everything he possibly could have to get the Buffs to that position. He finishes the season with 2,335 rushing yards. He had 41 touchdowns on the ground, 9.9 yards a carry, 196 yards a game. He had 6 games with at least 200 yards rushing. That is unbelievable. Just an absolutely incredible season. Gotta be about the best season in Elm Creek history. I don't know the Elm Creek record books too well, but I can't imagine that's very far from the top. A kid that maybe will go on to play college football at the running back position. If he does, look out. Speaking of lookout, this is our Lookout Next Year award, and that goes to the Amherst offense that returns a ton of firepower. I felt like I said that in the beginning of this year, but especially true going into this offseason. They're going to return Eckhout, Taubenheim. They're going to bring back Burke. They're going to bring back Hadwiger. All these guys that had such critical roles in an offense that scored 46 points a game this season. I know Ron Evans wanted to be able to make that push to possibly a state semifinal or even a state championship. But this group is really going to have a lot of those key playmaking pieces in place to make a nice run next year. Might just have to be an issue of offensive line, potentially a couple defensive positions to fill, obviously with Dibburns graduating. But, oh man, just a lot of firepower coming back for that Amherst offense. We'll be talking about them a lot more in the future. Well, there you have it. Those are my awards. If you're unhappy with them, feel free to troll me on Twitter. Follow any one of us on Twitter, troll us, whatever. Give us any sort of hate message saying that you should have won this award or that award. I apologize. We want to thank you all for watching the Sports Hub throughout the football season. Of course, we have our All-Region section coming out next week. We'll have probably some more awards to hand out. All-Region teams, of course. We're going to have some Player of the Year stories that you're definitely going to want to check out. We're actually going to be back in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a winter sports preview. That's going to be girls and boys basketball. It's hoop season. I'm excited. You're excited. Hey, let's do this all again. Thanks, guys.